Hey everybody, Steve here from Press by One. How are you? I trust everyone's been doing well. I've had a number of you ask me to give an update on what's going on, and so this is the update. Press by One, PbO in Mexico. So first off, I get asked a lot of questions about where exactly am I in Mexico? So let me show you. We're down here. We're at the very bottom. We're in southern Mexico. San Jose, Llano Grande, Tlachachuca, Puebla, Mexico. We're a couple hours away from Mexico City, but where's that in relation to everybody else? Well, Cancun, I get a lot of questions about, oh, you're near Cancun? Not really, 890 miles away. Dallas, my hometown, Dallas-Fort Worth area, 1132. San Francisco, you can see, in Las Vegas, Mecca, for craps, 1,882 miles. So this gives you the general idea. Here's the part of Mexico that we live in to give you a better idea on some of the cities. So Mexico City is the main city we fly into, even though we're going to start flying in from Veracruz, I think. So it takes a little bit longer. It's a little more expensive, but the drive is not as big of a deal because the drive from Mexico City to San Jose Llano Grande is 5 hours. It's a long drive. Mexico City is 20 million people. Puebla itself is only about 2 hours away. It's the capital of our little state, 3.2 million people. In Veracruz, 930,000 people just on the other side of the mountains. In San Jose Llano Grande, we have our own little ecosystem of towns. We are a massive a village of 981 people. Pretty much everybody works in the fields that you'll see around us. We're the last village before you hit the volcano, right there. We understand our village is a village. We don't have any stores. We don't have any restaurants. There's no real entertainment other than a bar. We do have a bar that's open on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's karaoke bar. How awesome is that? But if you want to buy stuff, different homes around the village sell different things. So like, if you were wanting to get ham, for example, or chicken, you can go to, there's a couple different houses that sell those. If you want Cokes or soda pop, as y'all call them, or here they call it frescas. If you want fresca, then you go to these other places, and places sell beer and they sell bread, and it's kind of cool. It's a little micro economy. We sell some stuff here, including internet. We allow people to log on to our guest internet, but they have to pay 25 pesos for a week's worth of internet. We sell some beer and we sell some candies as well for all the kids. If you want to go to a town, it's a 20-minute drive, but you go to Tlachachuca, 8.5 thousand people. Tlachachuca is you can go there. They don't really have restaurants there. They have places where you can get food, but I wouldn't really call them restaurants. No real bars or anything like that. So really not a place for entertainment, but they do have shops that you can go to buy stuff that you need. A bunch of small shops. You don't have a whole bunch of big shops, but they have small shops with a wider variety than what we have here in San Jose Llano Grande. And on top of that, they have a street fair every Sunday where you can go buy fresh fruits and vegetables and fresh meat and whatever else you need for the week. Now, if you want to go to the big city, you come on down 40 minutes away to Ciudad Cerdán, which is Cerdán City, 25,000 people. Their big festival is on Mondays, but they actually have grocery stores, like real grocery stores. So it still would be very small grocery stores to the U.S. standards, but heck, they're huge compared to what we have here in San Jose or even Tlachachuca. It takes about 40 minutes to get there because you actually have to drive to Tlachachuca and then you come across. There's no way to go straight to Ciudad Cerdán, unfortunately. So let's get some pictures of this is Tlachachuca, and you can see this is a picture of the farmers market. This is the downtown area. The blue in the back is the church. Of course, church is the center of everything in these little towns here in Mexico. Picture of the street, you can see it. It's kind of cool. The celebratory flags up. That's Tlachachuca, and here is our little village. You can see it's not very big. You can see it's, lots of open space inside the village. You notice there's a road coming in, but there is no road coming out because we are the last village before you hit into the volcano. But all these are fields. They're growing potatoes, corn, green beans. What else? I can't think of what else. Broccoli. There's some other giant green beans that are done, but that's our house right there. You can see it there in the corner, and this is actually our land right here. This is a school. This is like a secondary school. This is the land. That's public land, but that's our land right there. And then there's our fields. We have some fields that some of our cousins are working for us. It's way up on the mountain here. It's about an hour walk from our house to the fields. Now you couldn't drive the car. The car will get you about halfway there. And so you're still going to walk 30 minutes uphill when you get there. Now there's also the karaoke bar. Remember I told you about the karaoke bar? Right there. Look at that. I don't even have to go very far to get to it. How awesome is that? Now, one of the things that's cool about this community is this is the community that, my wife Gabby grew up in. And so, she's got lots of relatives, and we go visit lots of relatives, and they're all over the place. That's just gives you just kind of a funny view of it. I think of the 981 people here, probably 681 of them are relatives of some sort, which makes lots of funny conversations with Gabby, because she's like, this is my tia, this is my aunt, this is my uncle, this is my cousin. And then, later on, we meet more cousins and more cousins and more aunts and more uncles. And then she says, hey, remember when you met my aunt? And I'm like, no, which one? There's 20 million of them that I've met. But it's cool because it's, becomes, everything's kind of family, and it's just, I don't know, it's cool. These are some pictures of our little village. This is coming into town. That's our house, 3-bedroom house. This is our church. And there's, see, we're building on the little, what do you call it, bell tower onto the top. You see this quite often, horse and buggy get ridden, just the way it is. This picture that's in the upper left-hand corner, the horse and buggy. On the right-hand side, now that actually is a picture from Flatchachuk. I don't know why I have it here, but people use horses for transportation, just like they did in the old days. And so you'll see people riding around on horses quite often. The picture on the bottom left, this one cracks me up. So we have 2 paved roads. And one of them is the main road that's coming in from out of town. Well, one road or one street, to the north of it, they paved another road. But what cracks me up is, look, it just ends. It's this nice 4-lane road that just ends into the fields. And they decided they needed to put speed bumps on it as well, which cracks me up. The road is maybe a 1/4 mile long, maybe. Goes through the north side of town, where it ends just like this. So who knows what they were thinking. They had a plan. I just don't know what it was. And this picture in the upper right-hand corner, this is a common thing you'll see. You'll see an outside door on the 2nd floor or the 3rd floor of a house leading nowhere. I don't understand it, and they can't explain it to me, but it's kind of funny. Here's some views. The middle one actually is a view from my backyard. So this is what I see when I'm outside on my patio. And so is this one on the upper right-hand corner. That's in the morning. I just thought that view was so cool with the sun coming up behind. And then you see some of the other cool views around. All right, so this is up on our field. So this is one of our cousins working the field. And you can see the view over the valley, absolutely gorgeous. And this is something that's cool that happens. So the guys go to work 6 days a week. So they work Monday through Saturdays. And they go up about 7 o'clock in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and start working. Well, their families will come up around 9 or 10 o'clock, and they'll bring breakfast. And so that's kind of cool. And so they'll sit and they'll have breakfast and talk, and then they leave, and everybody, the guys go back to work. And so the wives here, the families here, they walked an hour to get up to these fields to have breakfast with their husbands and dads, and then they walk back an hour. So very interesting, cool little tradition with it. Here's some of the stuff around town. This is the upper the left hand side. This is the bar, and we're having a good time there. I notice it's all guys in the bar because girls don't go to the bars. Culturally, it's just not what they do. The middle picture here, you can see there's a corn stalk sticking up. This is our back patio. You can see there's a corn stalk sticking up because the guys were working the fields. They cut some corn stalks and they brought the corn stalks and the corn to our place. And we peeled them off, we cooked them, and we had beer with it. It was really neat. We were invited by an uncle to go. He said, "Hey, we're gonna have some fresh ham tonight." And so we go over to his house, and sure enough, you can't get much fresher than this. He just killed a pig, and so we walk in, and that's on the table. And so they're cutting it up, and they're cooking it right outside the door. Freaking amazing! It was so good. I loved it. So that's kind of a neat little thing. Ironically, the beef down here kind of sucks. It's not very good at all. It's tough. It's rough. So they do have, there's no nightclubs or anything anywhere near us, no place to go dancing, but people will have parties. The churches will have little parties. The communities have little parties. And here's some examples of them. This one on the far left is in Avalos. I believe this one is in Santa Maria on the right-hand side. And Gabby, of course, loves her michelitas and was having a good time doing that. So, but we also get to go out and we did play craps. We played craps up in Puebla, or I played craps up in Puebla at Wind Pot Casino. They have one table. It's a bit bouncy. And when I got there at about 1 o'clock, Gabby had to go. One of our relatives, one of the many thousands of relatives I told you that we had, was in the hospital. And so Gabby dropped me off at the casino and she went to the hospital to visit the relative. And so I go in and it's closed. The craps table's not open. And so I asked them, I said, well, when do you open it? And which, understand, I don't speak Spanish, they don't speak English. So it was very interesting trying to find out. And they're like, oh no, un momento, one moment. And they opened it up for me. So even though they weren't normally opening it up to like 6 o'clock in the evening, they went ahead and opened it up early for me. And so that was really kind of cool. So I did get to play. But it was a real challenge though, because I can't have my phone out at the table. So I couldn't do Google Translate to help me go back and forth to make my bets and everything. But through hand signs and gestures and me placing some of my own bets where normally I wouldn't, everything worked out well. I ended up making about $2,000. That would be pesos, which means I made about $100. So it was fun. And actually, I started off way down. I hadn't shot in like 2 months, and I was way down and from stick right one. So I moved over to stick left one, started making my money back. But then Gabby came to pick me up, and so I just made $100 and I called it good. But it got my juices flowing. I'm ready to start playing again. And here's the start of it.
And that, my friends, is the beginning of a craps table.
So we have our fields and we had a tree that had to come down, had some issues with it. So we were going to have to, it was going to come down on its own. So we chopped it down, or did not chopped it. We used a chainsaw, but it came down and we used this wood from that tree to build the craps table on our back patio. We also used it to build a cucina, which is a kitchen, a detached kitchen, which is a big thing that the ladies have down here. So first off, here's the tree. Here's some of the work. Some of our workers, some of our cousins helping out, getting the tree ready, getting the tree, cut up. You can see the tree here. The tree was cut into lumber up on the side of the volcano, up in the fields, and we loaded it up onto a tractor and a trailer and brought it home. But you get an idea of the size of the tree. This, my cousin Bruno, this is how he cuts the lumber. He just uses his chainsaw. He marks what he wants to cut, and he just starts cutting it. You can see he's already got a couple pieces right there. And yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Now, is it perfectly cut? No, of course not. But it's good enough. And so we just told him. I told him what sizes I needed for the kitchen and what sizes I needed for the table, and that's what he did. And so now here's the kitchen that I built. Now remember last year when we were on COVID was the first time I built anything when I built my table. And now I'm building kitchens, which cracks me up. Here it is in process. Here he is cutting. I needed some of the wood to be cut a little bit smaller. And so he gets out his trusty chainsaw, gets them smaller. This is what it looks like inside. And you can see here is this is a Salvador and his son finishing up the tile that we put into it. So tile costs us to do all the tile between the labor cost and the cost of the material was just about $800. It's cheap down here. Here's me building the table. So I'm using the same basic concept as I used on my last table, where I've got this time though, I'm only using 4 legs as opposed to 5 because I'm using these little supports. I'm using the corner supports and that helps out. And then the table gets placed, the flat table gets placed on top of these long arms. So that's pretty good. I did add wheels onto it this time. I did not do that on my old table. I added wheels onto it this time. I'm quite happy with that. Now you notice I don't have my felt. I don't have my rubber pyramid bumpers because those come in on November 11th from casinoforyou.com. I'm very, very excited about it. I can't wait. So in the meantime, I just kind of did, put some numbers on. I did the hards and the horns. I've actually added on, since this picture was taken, I've added on the pass line. And I play a version, I play craps just with this. But with the guys around the village, when they come over, we play, I call it the San Jose, Llano Grande street craps, because basically we just bet. I'll do a video on it and y'all can see that. But anyway, so that's what the table looks like. Now when my craps custom felt gets in, this is what it's going to look like. Now, if you look real quickly, you can tell this does not look necessarily like a normal craps, kind of looks like a normal craps table, but not really. That's because I decided that whenever I do my videos, you get to see basically the 10 and over. And so on a normal table in the middle, you've got all your hop bets, you've got your horn bets, your hard ways, which means you don't really see any of those things on my table. And so what I decided to do was I was going to make my felt friendly for my videos. And so I moved the hop bets to be underneath their numbers. I moved the hard ways underneath the 10. I moved the horn bets and the horn highs underneath the 10. So that way everything will be on screen. Also, that's fire bets. There's the all tall small in the middle on the top and the white. And then the yellow is for the what do you call it? Repeaters. And then finally on each end, you see you got all those rectangles. Those are to help practice for landing zones. So people can practice landing zones. And I'm just excited about it. I think it's going to be cool. So once that cuts in, I'll be doing more videos. I'm going to try to do, a few videos a week at least. I've got to get back into practice on craps because it looks like January timeframe-ish, maybe February, we'll be heading back to the States. Now, we won't be heading back to Vegas. We'll be heading back to San Francisco, but that's not too far from Reno, and it's not too far from Vegas. So anyway, that's it. So there you go. A quick little update on what's going on in my world. If you like this video, if you like hearing the update, do me a favor, just hit the like button. If you didn't like it, don't hit the thumbs down. I'm just trying to, people asked me to do this, so I did. Anyway, we'll talk to y'all soon.